This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 9, Episode 4, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington on YouTube and social media. I'm Rick Snyder.
And I'm sweating.
And we're all back discussing all things Washington sports and life as part of the Rick Snyder Empire, or whatever.
I like that, the Rick Snyder Empire.
It was inevitable. It was inevitable. So make sure you hit the share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thanks button, the $ thing. All money goes directly to Matt. Kind of. So once I'm done with it.
Hey, so if I write a blog, because I can't write, I'll just put it in that chat GTP thing. Will you post it for me?
As part of the Rick Snyder Empire, sure. I'll put you in the comment section or something.
There we go. I could be like PFT commenter.
The one thing analytics always tells me is whatever you want to do it first, because everybody drops off after so long. So I picked the game first. I say the Washington Commanders beat the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday, 17-13.
I'll go 24-10.
Ooh, look. I don't think the defense quite shows up as well as people think early. They may have to come back and win this game. I think the offense is going to struggle a little bit. I just think it's going to be a tougher game than they expect.
Well, whoever Arizona throws out there does not have any experience, so I could see an early defensive pick six. Maybe a couple field goals for the offense, and then maybe a late touchdown.
I'm just worried that the defense isn't ready. I think the back 4, 5, or whatever you want to call them, are going to be fine. Linebacker, I saw Jamin Davis's court case got moved to March now, so they don't have to worry about it for a while. And he's going to have a jury trial if they don't come to an agreement over his punishment for doing 14 miles an hour. So that's backed off. The front 4 I worry about a little bit, but we'll see. Here's the one thing. When I always talk to coaches about what's the hardest thing, going from bad to good or good to great, routinely coaches talk about going to great. And Ron has managed to take bad teams to good. And he did have one year when they were great at Carolina. He had a great quarterback and they went to the Super Bowl. They lost. But mostly he's been like a 500 coach. And I wonder, is Eric Bieniemy the difference here to take this team from good to great? By being the guy to come in and kick him in the butt. Not that he's the smartest guy in the room necessarily, but you need something. You needed that spark. Something to take this team from good to great. And I don't think they're going to be great, but I think they can be good. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if he's the guy, not Ron, that's going to be, and I'm not saying he should be the head coach. I'm just saying that his factor in the rooms, I think could be the it factor that you're looking for.
I think the thing that we have to really focus on is how much control does Ron give up? I mean, this is a team that for the past 4 seasons, he has completely ran from top to bottom, whether it's personnel to, I'm sure he gave Scott some leeway, but at the end of the day, it's ultimately his call. I don't know. I mean, I think it all matters on how much control Ron can relinquish. I mean, even now, I mean, and also, is Ron going to be more involved if he's hands off on the offense? Is he going to be more hands on the defense or side of the ball that he knows? And is he going to let them do their thing on that side of the ball? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, a head coach just needs to be a game manager. This is why we have the issues with the timeout and with the clock and stuff. I mean, that is something that Ron should be focused on. Ron, you have assistants that are, have pretty good reputations in the league. You should let them do their thing. It was a little different when Scott Turner was here, but, Del Rio's been a head coach. He's been a defensive coordinator. He knows what it takes to run that side of the ball. I don't know. I worry about Ron. I mean, Ron is just a 500 coach, aside from that one Super Bowl year.
And so when we have to look at Bieniemy, and I'm still struggling with a cold. The thing is, if Hal is struggling, how does Bieniemy change his game plan during the game? How does he make adjustments? Now, that's what I want to see, because we haven't seen any of that yet. It's easy to go and practice and kick and yell at everybody and all that stuff. But now you're at halftime and you're losing. That was the greatness of Joe Gibbs, and Ricky Pettibone. They could swap sides if they wanted on the other and win the second half. They were really good. guys like Gruden, I think they ate hot dogs and watched, Sports Center during halftime because they
Well,
never
it's the
came.
same thing that Ron's done. Ron has never been one for halftime adjustments.
Yeah, you're kind of wondering what's going on. So how does EB do that? That's part of the reputation builder, in my opinion. You're going to struggle with Sam Howell at times. There's no doubt of that. He's going to have some really good games. He's going to have some tough games. I think for the year, I think he's going to have like 18 touchdowns and 11 picks. That kind of thing. So,
well, and also one of the things you have to do is don't have Howell on such a short leash like you did with Heineke last year. I mean, we all scratched our heads when they pulled Heineke for that one game and put Wentz back in against the Browns. You're like, what are you doing? Like, really? You're going to roll with Carson Wentz? Like, no, you can't do that to Sam Howell. Sam Howell is still in that maturing phase and adjustment to the NFL where if he has a bad game and the next week you go out and say, oh, well, we're benching Howell for Brissett. Brissett is a traveled veteran. We don't need to see what Jacoby Brissett can do. He's not going to lead you to the Super Bowl. Your chance to succeed and have a franchise quarterback is Sam Howell. So short of injury, you do not sit Sam Howell. You just can't do it.
But what happens if you get desperate because they're 4-7 and you're getting fired in a few weeks?
Roll with Howell because you're getting fired anyway. What do you care about this team next year?
Yeah, because it's not like you're developing a quarterback for next guy. Because if they're 4-7, they're going to be drafting a new quarterback next year anyway. Right.
And if they get a new head coach, he's going to bring in the guy he wants anyway. There is no more Dan Snyder going up to a brand new head coach and saying, you have to win with Dwayne Haskins. There is no more Dan Snyder or Bruce Allen or one of those guys that during the interview says, hey, Jay Gruden, you have to win with the quarterback that we picked.
Yeah. So does this team have a returner?
No.
No?
I mean, they got a guy. They got a Danny Johnson. They got, I don't know what you're going to give the Dax Milne again. I mean,
all forward 2 yards. I mean, he's 6 foot tall, so goes forward 2 yards.
What's going to get 3 yards in a cloud of dust? I mean, come on.
I mean, I know kick returner is not as important this year because of the new rule, but still, I kind of sat there and said, who's returning kicks? It's still an important part of the game, but you wouldn't know it by what's happened here and even recent years.
No, I don't think they have one. They got a guy that's going to go out there and catch the ball. Or let it roll through the back of the end zone during a kickoff. I mean, you got a punt returner. You could go out and I could do this. Give me money.
Yeah, but then you don't even have to catch the ball. Kickoffs, I guess there's no recovering if the ball is short as 25, I guess you have to fair catch it. And then you start at the 25.
I don't know.
Because you came down it, not on a kick. No. All right, so NFC.
I like the XFL rules where you can't they can't attempt to tackle until after the guy goes a certain yard.
Yeah. All right. Since it's the first week of the season, we make some outrageous picks. NFC East leader, I think you have to go Eagles over Cowboys, but I think Washington finished third over the Giants.
This week or at the end of the season?
End of the season.
Eagles, Cowboys. Honestly, I could see the Giants and the Commanders being tied.
I think the Giants and the Eagles come back a little bit from last season. And
I don't know. I still think I think the Eagles are all in. They're all in because they wanted that Super Bowl last year. They're going all in this year.
Yeah. Who do you like in the Super Bowl? Here's a tough one.
I'm gonna say Buffalo finally gets over Kansas City. So I'll say Buffalo, Philadelphia.
That's interesting. I'll go San Francisco. Just maybe they figure it out and they get that done. And can I see the Baltimore Ravens if the Orioles win? Then we get a little Baltimore there. But
Orioles win. Y'all are funny.
Do you think the Orioles can get to the World Series?
I would have said no after the injury to the closer. So I'm still going to say no.
I think, they've had a great season, and I am happy for Orioles fans. I'm not one. But,
Same.
those poor people have suffered a long time.
Oh, I know. There was talk a couple of years of them moving to Nashville.
Yeah. And there's talk about the owners moving to Nashville.
Yep.
Just that team, and somebody else to get the Orioles.
Well, God, that'll be the best thing for Orioles fans if the Angelos family packs up and hits the road.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Dave because they want to go to Nashville. All right, you go to Nashville, own that. We sell your team for this.
There you go.
I mean, I wish him well. I just don't think you can get to the World Series after 30 years of wandering the desert. Not one jump, But I wish him well on that. But yeah, I like San Francisco. Buffalo is just sort of like to me, their year. You're either going to do this or you're not.
I agree.
They've had a good run of teams, but not quite there. But you got Cincinnati, who's a really tough one at Burrows. What he is, but their receivers got glass knee.
That's the only reason I didn't pick them is because the Burrow injury, we don't know how long that's going to affect him. And also the Jamar Chase. I mean, like you said, he's some days he's injured, some days he's not. I mean, he just seems to always pop up on that injured list. And they've lost a couple key guys, key backups. I mean, not big time guys, but yeah, I just don't know if it's Cincinnati's year this year. I could see Buffalo. I think maybe Buffalo finally gets over that hump and defeats the Chiefs. I mean, they gotta avenge that 13 seconds eventually.
I mean, there's a long suffering fan base too. So I
mean, 4 straight Super Bowls and you lost every single one of them.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. And now they're kicking in all that money for a new stadium. So they're all in. They're breaking tables and breaking hearts.
I was gonna say, for as mediocre as they've been, they still have such a diehard fan base. But then again, what else is there to do in Buffalo? I mean, the Sabres have sucked for years. What are you, a Toronto Blue Jays fan? I mean, there ain't that much to do.
Well, you go to what I did when I go to late season games. You go to Niagara Falls and you watch the ice flow over the edge of it, and smash down the bottom.
Yeah, but you can only do that for so long.
Yeah, it was pretty cold. We can't hang out for too long there.
Exactly.
On there. All right.
Book it. I'll say Bills, Eagles. You said San Fran and Baltimore?
Nah, we'll go with the Ravens. But let's go Steelers.
Steelers.
I'm going to go Steelers.
Wow, you're a big Kenny Pickett fan, I see.
Yeah, and I like Tomlin. I'm a big fan of Tomlin.
He's
losing year in like 15 years. No one can say that.
I know.
Dude figures it out. I think
I tell you, nobody commands a room more than Tomlin. When you go to the Steelers, you listen. You know who runs that team.
Yeah.
Ron should take some notes.
There you go. All right. So scheduling. Let's see. I'll be at the game on Sunday. Hopefully my voice will too. So I'll be following from there. And then next Monday, hopefully we do this podcast. We had to try and let me get my voice back.
Let me ask you this one question before we go.
Oh, and live chat on Mondays 8 to 9 on YouTube. So
Let me ask you this one question, and it's you can answer yes, no, whatever. I know you've covered this team for 40 years. You are a fan of this team. Are you excited for this team again?
Well, let me qualify one thing. Being a fan of the team, it's not the same thing as you're a fan of the team. Because I cover them and I wish them well. I like the people involved. I wish to see success for them. If you're going to go play, you might as well win. Be happy. Covering bad teams like I have, not a lot of fun.
It's hard.
Grew up in Washington, so I wasn't a Cowboys fan, but it's not the same thing. But am I excited about them? I think they turned the corner. I think they're on the way up. Maybe not quite right now, but I think within the next 3-4 years, once you reset some of these things they're doing, I think they have a chance to be relevant again. And that's been a long time since they've been relevant. 30 years really. I mean, they popped up once in a while, but nothing really. You never thought they were really a Super Bowl contender.
Right.
The only thought they really might win the Super Bowl was when Sean Taylor died. I thought maybe there was a karma thing. They won a bunch of games after, and Joe Gibbs told me the same thing. He said, I thought we were going to Super Bowl. Just the way it was going, they got beat in the first round.
Yeah, that year, and then honestly, the 2012 Robert year, the Roberts rookie year, I just thought there was nothing that anybody could do to stop this team, and they found a way by breaking his leg. But aside from that, it just felt like 2012 was the team that was a destiny. That team was destined to win. But yeah, I guess the Sean Taylor year, there was that feeling of we've hit the lowest of lows. Let's get to the highest of highs to honor him.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Maybe they'll put a statue up for him one day. Right now, we just have
a real one, not a mannequin.
Yeah, we have Modell's mannequin right now, but who knows? The new stadium whenever that is, which will be a while. Maybe they'll do something smart about those kind of things. All right. Anyway, and don't forget Monday nights on YouTube, 8 to 9 Eastern. Hopefully I'll be talking about it this coming Monday. So come watch all that. And otherwise, we're all here. So I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we're out of here. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent with your hosts, Rick Snyder and Matt Combs.